Hi everybody. I'm gonna put this up on YouTube. And this is gonna be one of my first spoken word pieces that I'm just gonna perform. I've been having a rough week this week. Hopefully this makes other people feel better. Cause hopefully it makes me feel better. And I wanna perform my piece, Those Three Letters. I performed it a long time ago for people. I don't think anybody has ever really heard me perform it. Give me one moment. I'm gonna find it. And this is gonna give me a chance to like edit videos and stuff. I may leave all these pieces in here so you can see how I'm doing stuff, and what like transpro.com is gonna be like. And yes. Feels good for me just to focus on these things. I know I'm gonna be great. You know why? Because I work really, really hard for everything. And I always carry the majority of people with me. I'm always so nice and try not to step on other people or hurt their feelings. And then I want to make sure people see my BHIV short shirt because I want this to be shared. It's like me being you because you're partner network. That's why I want to read those three letters. Let me see. Jeez Louise, I gotta find it. Okay, so I may. Okay, so, alright, hold on. I know people are probably like, damn, can this girl find me? Oh my gosh, I'm judging myself. I'm sorry, this is my first video, y'all. I've never like did this, or like, this is like, I'm putting this up on YouTube and everybody's gonna see it, so I'm proud to be one. Yes, I do have HIV and I'm living with it, and I'm proud. Like, I'm not sad. Just want to make other people feel better with this spoken word piece I have. Jeez. Okay, so I am gonna edit some stuff because I'm about to figure out where I'm coming in at. Okay. And I don't even know how to like. Okay. Oh shoot. Okay. Let me just go to my website. Duh, Starr. Oh my gosh. Get it together, girl. Get it together. Oh, I get so nervous. Okay. By the way, like and subscribe if you want to see me do more spoken word pieces. Maybe comment and let me know if you want to see me do more spoken word pieces. This is me performing my piece called Those Three Letters. I'm actually also going to perform what my black skin means to me too, so that I can post that one as well. Those three. I'm gonna restart again. Those three letters. Love yourself, masterpiece. She meets men because she thinks they are going to build her up. They tell her she's pretty, she's sexy, she's thick. They tell her they love her until she tells them those three letters. All that so-called building from the outside has left her empty on the inside. She's only left with those three letters. Before we get too far, let me tell you how she felt when she first heard those three letters. Describe her future health as a woman, like she already wasn't going through her identity crisis. Now something else she gotta disclose, something else she to get rejected for. So she thinks. She now seeing those three letters to describe her as a woman, to describe her womanhood. She thinks to herself, I can't get rid of those three letters. Now since I wanted one night of love, she thinks. When the nurse, which is the she who told that young woman in her prime, her already confused state, those three letters, she cried like no tomorrow, but as her first heartbeat, she heard the first person's voice. She heard when she came into this world. As her mother's firstborn, her mother's savior, she thought. That baritone but sweet voice played in her mind like usually does when she's beating herself up about the results of her actions. She was transported back to 2008, the day when a young lady becomes a woman by state law standards. At the barely legal age of 18, when she came out as a young woman, confused on what being a woman means. The nurse brought her back out of that trance. The young woman in her prime sucked those tears up and wiped those tears on her face, and she also tried to clean up her lap where the tears had made a lake of misery. But she knew she couldn't cry over spilled milk, as her callous, overzealous, and weird way of showing love mom had told her. As the nurse tried to tell the young woman in her prime the next steps to what happens now, those three letters are her. Another thought flashes across her mind. Lake lightning flashing across a dark, rainy, dreary sky. She thought I should have definitely kept this one to myself. As she slaps herself and yells out, I already knew the consequences were when I was so called in love and having unprotected sex. In that moment, she also realizes, wow, all of this looking and seeking for so-called true love got her caught the fuck up and tangled in those three letters. Web of lies. She realized what else was expected to happen to her. She was sucking dick at 9 and being fondled at the young age of 11. By the first man who seemed to like her, or seemed to like her by the first man who seemed to care. Her confusion continued for years later until later on she found out that all of it was a lie and he was a predator. A child molester was preying on a little girl he's seeing inside of a little boy. By the time it came time for me to talk about the boogeyman who would hide in a dark closet and wait for everyone to go to sleep to play find a sausage, and they wanted me to pull all of that out of the tote in the back where she keeps the scary person who always been scared of everything, who cried out for her mom's help, and mom was not there. That young woman in her prime was worried about judgment. She was worried she wouldn't get support. She was worried she wouldn't get mental health help. She was worried she would be ashamed for her confusing. She was worried, also worried no one would believe her. As she sat and thought, I put all of those thoughts and memories back with the dust mites and the skeletons of her past in the back of her mind. That one person who I thought she showed me real love was my so-called friend. My secret ends up being that little girl's boogeyman. When she grows up to be a young lady with trust issues, the sad-looking, big-lipped grief counselor who just taught her those three letters now describes her, asked her, what do you need to do and who do you need to call? She was also still trying to explain to the beautiful black young woman in her prime now, those three letters, follow you, what's your next steps? The young woman who's in her prime couldn't hear that, so grief counselors say anything all she could think of was to make a joke and to call her best friend, her big sister, her shoulder to cry on, her mentor, the one person she didn't want to disappoint, to tell her the crazy news. The next person on the list to call, well, she dreaded calling that woman who keeps replaying in her head. It rang about 3 times in the line answered, and the young woman who was now bellowing out like the little boy she still sees in the mirror. The person on the line asked what's wrong and said, call me when you want to talk. I said, I can't understand whimpers and crying. And that's what she told me. But what the grown woman now knows, she can't keep her mouth closed when she's hurting. Her mind was all over the place, and the only 2 things that kept crossing her mind was, I'm another statistic. What is my family going to think of me? She thought to herself, OMG, I gave them something else to talk about to taunt my mom with. My family's going to think instead of actually processing those 3 letters. Here it is now, 2018, and she still hasn't processed those 3 letters. She writes this story to tell all young women in their prime, even though those 3 letters describe you, they don't make you or break you. That young woman in her prime is me, and those 3 letters live with me, and I don't live with them. They don't define me or describe me anymore. I'm broke free of those 3 letters, which is HIV. Those 3 letters.